Morning. It's Tuesday morning here in Cary, North Carolina. Windy and rainy, and hopefully your day is going to be a great one with the Lord, even though the day is gloomy. Things outside of us are discouraging. God encourages us as we move towards Pentecost and songs of ascent. Today we're going to do Psalm 124 and also Psalm 126. We talked about shalom last week. Today we're going to talk about going home. Psalm 124 is what if. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, let Israel now say. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side when people rose up against us, then they would have swallowed us up alive when their anger was kindled against us. Then the flood would have swept us away. The torment would have gone over us, and over us would have gone the raging waters. Blessed be the Lord, who has not given us as prey to their teeth. We have escaped like a bird from the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we have escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth. As they would go up to these feasts and sing and pray these songs of ascent, this one is, what if? What if the Lord had not been on our side? What if the Lord had not been on our side? And they look back at the time of their escape from empire, from living in Egypt, and how God carried them through the raging waters, but destroyed the Egyptians. Without God, they would not have been redeemed. They would not be a people of God. What if they had not escaped like a bird? Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth. So at the beginning of our lives as Christians, after our new birth, after we shared in Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection, what if the Lord had not been on our side? And I ask today, during times of trouble, what if the Lord is not on our side today? We ask that question, but He is. He shows us through the prophets. He shows us through the poets in the Old Testament. He shows us as He lives with the kings, and He tries to help the kings and disciple the kings out of that great book, Deuteronomy, that He wants to be on our side, that He wants to be close and have a relationship with us as the people of God. But we go on in Psalm 124, it's not just the beginning that God is on our side, but it's also at the end. Excuse me. Psalm 126. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for us. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are glad. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like streams in the Negeb. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. He who goes out weeping, hearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing to him sheaves, bringing to the Lord sheaves with him. So now we're in the middle of the story. And as we head up to Jerusalem and to ascend, we remember that not only did God rescue us at the beginning, redeem us at the beginning, but He has restored us many times, gone beyond our dreams, gone beyond our imagination, given us children and grandchildren and friendships that are eternal, given us His Word, who is light and life and a lamp to our feet, given us community that we can learn to practice and to put into practice God's character, joy and peace and love and kindness, social justice, goodness and righteousness and steadfast love and faithfulness. as Yahweh's children, as God's people. We have been restored, but we want to go home. As we go to these festivals during the Psalm of Ascent, we're really in practice of going home. As we go to worship our God on the Lord's Day, we practice going home. We sing to God. We love God. We worship God. We come as a group of people, and we long for the day that we're not doing this by Zoom or live stream or on a phone. That we can one day again be the people of God, and that we can go home. We live between resurrections. The resurrection of Jesus that shows us what our resurrection will be like, as he was resurrected in bodily form and took on an immortal body, that one day we will be restored. And we will sing shouts of glory, shouts of honor, shouts of joy, and shouts of gladness to our God. So as we ascend to Jerusalem, we're ascending, practicing going home. I know for many of you, you sing during your quiet time. I do that sometime. I think a lot of times we think in order to be a singer, we have to be up front. I'm kind of a combination of Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard from growing up. So I'm not a very good singer. But I encourage you at times to stop, get your songbook, or find a song that you like and sing during your time with God. Today we want to focus on coming home. Softly and tenderly Jesus is calling, calling for you and for me. Patiently Jesus is waiting and watching, watching for you and for me. Come home, come home. We who are weary, come home. Jesus is calling, and we are coming. Calling, O sinner, come home. Why should we tarry when Jesus is pleading, pleading for you and for me? Why should we linger and heed not his warning, warning for you and for me? Come home, come home. We who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling, O sinner, come home. Oh, for the wonderful love he has shown us, promise for you and for me. Though we have sinned, we have mercy and pardon, pardon for you and for me. O sinner, come home. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance and give you peace. May the Lord's joy radiate with joy. May the Lord's face radiate with joy because of you. I hope you practice going home today. See you next week.